Welcome back to Inside the Show. I'm your host, Scuffy, alongside Cougs, and we got a special guest today joining us. As you see in the middle screen, we got Skimbo joining us on today's episode, which we'll be bringing him in, asking little questions. But Cougs, it's been a fun week. Been a fun week. We had an eventful week, and what I mean by eventful week, which is going to be the main topic for today, is the summer circuit. And we were going to have a lot of stuff to talk about, from going ESL to Battlefy, and then get our special guest today, get some questions from him, see, because he actually played over this past weekend. But before we do that, Cougs, let's bring in the man himself, Michael Skimbo. Welcome to Inside the Show. How's it going, bud?
Man, it's going good. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. Before we get into it, thank you to the MLB community, because they've honestly been open arms to me since the 5 or 6 months I've been streaming this game. And man, this community is awesome. I tweet about it all the time. This is a really awesome community, and I think they deserve more, to be honest. But I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. I mean, I wanted we wanted to hook up for the last couple of weeks, and I'm always intrigued of when, say, because you mainly played Madden before moving to MLB. I always loved getting the aspect and the mind thought of moving from one particular game to another. But before we get to that, I just want how did you start, like, actually playing video games, and even that competitively, because that's gonna be the main topic today, especially with the summer circuit happening over the past weekend. So I just want to jump right into it. Like, how did it all get started? What was just
Yeah.
give me the 101, I guess.
Got you. I've told this story so many times in Madden. There's a lot of stuff out there about this, but this is how it started. Didn't play a lot of video games growing up. Stopped when I was about 14. Focused on baseball. I told you I played with and against guys like Dylan Bundy and Archie Bradley. I was a left-handed pitcher. I went to college to pitch. I could have gone the JUCO route, but my mom, and thank goodness she did this, she forced me to take this full ride academic scholarship just in case of injury, because I had 2 labrum tears before this. I was kind of, I was on my last leg. And I go to college, man, that first year grinding, left-handed pitcher at the time. Nowadays, these guys are throwing like at least 94 plus. It's crazy, the velo, because 10, 15 years ago, as a left-hand pitcher, I was throwing about 85, 86. I'm like, man, if I can get 4 or 5 miles per hour more, I might have a shot to do something. But I end up tearing my arm the first week I went to college. Switched hands and played college tennis, believe it or not. I did. So, but what happened was, in the dorm rooms, when you're in college, you either study a lot or you get in trouble. And I like to get in trouble. And so we were in the dorm rooms, and my boys were playing video games, and I'm such an addict. When these dudes would fall asleep, I didn't have an Xbox. I would sneak into their dorm room in the middle room, and I would grind just to beat these kids at Madden. That was how it all started. I would literally just the competition to beat my friends. It just drove me crazy. I entered tournaments. Next thing I know, I'm actually halfway decent at Madden. I win some tournaments, and then you just become a pro, just like that, I guess. You just win some tournaments, you're considered a pro. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Now, if correct me if I'm wrong, you had 3 MCU belts, MCS.
Yeah. So I won the big one in 17, the $100,000 tournament, and then 18 and 19. Unfortunately, they only give out 4 belts every year. I won one in 18, 19. Unfortunately, the first tournament of the year, the prize pool's not a lot, so these were only like $30,000 or whatever. And, because some dudes were winning $150,000 for their belts, and so the first belt I won, they considered me the best in the world that year. And then 18, 19, I was like top 5 or something. But yeah, I've won 3 belts. Yep.
Hey, that's good. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, MCS is the Madden, pretty much the esports competitive scene, and where the best of best go at it. What I always loved about Madden and watching that and getting hooked on it is the live events and actually seeing you guys be in the same room. We talked this in the past. We had Kyle last season where we talked about this, how much we would love to see that for MLB, but give me that atmosphere. Give me how that feels of not just seeing through a screen on being at home in your room, looking at your opponent, playing your opponent, but actually being side by side, and the intensity and the atmosphere it brings to the table when playing competitively in a video game.
It's intense, dude. It's awesome. You're playing the dudes right there. You can give them a look, you can do something, like, you know what I mean? You can say, like, we have our headphones on, like, you see the headphones, right? They have white noise. We can hear
Yeah.
everything we're saying. Those ain't blocking
Oh,
out
it's
no
white
noise.
noise. I thought you
It's
always
it's
played like music.
you have music, and then the big, like, these headphones are white noise. So you have AirPods underneath, and then you have the white noise with the EA stuff. And you're supposed to be able not to be able to hear each other. Dude, we hear each other. Like, and we're talking trash. And it's fun. And now it used to be, actually, I don't know if you've seen old days, it used to be a lot crazier back in the day because people were around you while you played, and people were literally just on you while you played the game. Like, you had no breathing room. People were in your ear just talking all the time. And then EA, smart by EA, we don't want anything crazy to happen in fights because there's a lot of fights and a lot of crazy stuff I've seen. And
Mhm.
but it's still a good atmosphere playing live. Like, it's pretty cool. And you know what's the craziest thing is when you play in a finals, it doesn't even feel like a game anymore because you have an admin coming up to you who's like, all right, pause. Like, you're mid drive, mid play, pause. We need to run a commercial. It's like you have to have so much
Oh,
focus in a
wow.
finals. Oh, dude, it's a show. And at the end of the day, it is a show, right? We are the entertainment. Yes, we are competing for, a lot of money. But I'm telling you right now, the finals, you have to be so focused when you make it to a finals because there's so much other stuff going on around you. You used to have real fans in the crowd. Now they hired fake fans that go crazy. And then you're just like I said, you have an admin coming up to you who's like, hey, hit pause. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a kicking a ball or a play. I'm like what? Like, but okay. But yeah, anyways, the live events are crazy. I wish MLB did something like this. I really did.
I do. Cougs, how would you feel about that? Like, imagine you like have a 3-2 pitch coming up. Hey, wait, we're over time. We gotta pause it. Give you another minute on a 3-2 pitch, like a cursive bat. How do you feel about that, Cougs?
Dude, I grew up going to like Call of Duty events, like LAN events where they're competing and they're playing for money, and just the energy at these LAN events is awesome. So I'm all for an in real life event where two of the best in MLB The Show are going at it. I think that would be huge because we haven't done anything like that. Anything in
Yeah.
MLB The Show for the entirety of its esports existence has all been online play, and just that extra element of having the other person physically there across from you, and you're both competing with money on the line and a bunch of people watching. It adds a whole nother layer to the whole thing. So I'm all for that. But I actually have a question for you, Skimbo. When you were talking about
What's up?
um winning the belts and stuff, and you said for 1 year you were considered the best in the world. What is
Mhm.
that feeling like when you're playing a game that thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, are playing, and you are the number one person in the world? What is that feeling like going forward? Does it make you more hungry to keep that spot? Is it easy to get complacent in that spot? What is that type of feeling like?
It makes me more hungry, to be honest, and it makes me upset I wasn't as good as in the next years. Again, I won tournaments. I'm the only one that's won three of these things, and it makes me upset I wasn't better the next year. But it's a great feeling, dude. People ask me, do you ever get sick of playing the same game over and over? Right? That's a popular question. You ever get sick of playing Madden? And I'm gonna be honest, the answer was no, because when you're considered one of the best in the world, like the best in the world, how does that not drive you to stay there? Like, I don't understand that. Like, there's some Madden players, honestly, that are considered like one of the best in the world, and then the next year they just don't care. Like, I don't know. Everyone has a different mentality, Mamba mentality, all that stuff. I don't know, man. It's just there's something about being number one. Like, I don't know why you would ever want to give that up, and it actually pisses me off that I did give it up. And it makes me just want to grind even more the next year and the next year and the next year. And it's a great feeling. But I will say this: I love it when Madden's over in the season because I'm grinding that game 10 to 12 hours a day. Um, and I think it comes out in August, and our season basically ends in about April or May. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Before I started streaming, from May to August, I was on a boat every day fishing with my dad. Like, just I didn't play video games for 4 or 5 months. I didn't touch them because I knew I was about to put in the freaking time to get to that level. But to answer your question, it's great. It's a great feeling, and I just want it even more the next year.
Now, that's a perfect time to like transition because now you have transitioned to
Yep.
MLB.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
how did that like did you just want to jump into it and just like see what happens because you recently start streaming, or just like you always played you played baseball in your life, so maybe
Yeah.
just give this a full shot and see how it goes?
I'm a baseball guy. I know I've won belts playing Madden. I stopped playing Madden in Madden football in high school. Like my freshman year, I focused on basketball and baseball. But I'm a baseball guy, dude. Like I love it, man. Like I
Mhm.
got the terminology. Like I had great coaches. One of my coaches in high school, he's actually in the Hall of Fame. Like like top high school coach of the year one year. Like I had really good coaching, so I love baseball, and it was just an easy
Mhm.
transition. It reminded me of real sports. Like we always talk about what separates us people that stream and play video games to real life. Like, dude, we have a real life. We've been around, and in real life, the perfect
Yeah.
balance is being a football and being a baseball player because you have that winter break to get your off season in for baseball, and after baseball's done, you have that summer break to get ready for football. For me, I played basketball, so that was my winter. But I love the transition. It feels like literally the most perfect time. And right now, I think how long has MLB been out? About 4 or 5 months, and Madden's coming back around. It's just like the perfect transition because I'm gonna flow right into Madden.
Oh yeah, exactly. So, you started streaming MLB for 20 before you go into 21, and
Yeah.
it looks like you fell in love with BR, just like
Oh
how
yeah.
I fell in love with BR. And how has that experience been? Just like actually playing the game and feeling that, like, because BR it, it it could be you love the mode one day, and then the next day
Yeah.
you like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I continuing this? But it
Right.
gives that competitive feel for me, at least the adrenaline, because you're trying to go on that streak. And did that fulfill like what you needed from MLB The Show?
Yeah, I love it. But first off, before I answer that question, when I talk about love and BR, I hang out with three dudes in the
Mhm.
community a lot. The TikTok sensation, Little Man, DGOS15, and Gunsky. We talk
Yep.
every night in the Discord for 4 to 5 hours. Like for the last 3 or 4 months, those are like the dudes. Like we're in a Discord and we just chop it up. Like those guys have been so welcoming to
That's awesome.
me. And being a competitive player, I will say this: I love BR. I love it. I think it's fun. I think it's a great mode, very casual-ish. But when it comes
Mhm.
to an esport and it comes to game time, it should not be an
Mhm.
esport. It's just too crazy,
Oh no, not at all.
it shouldn't be three
Yeah.
innings for an esport. I know it's more exciting. Listen, it's all about excitement, though. I get that. You don't want to put viewers to sleep. But if I was a competitive MLB guys, I'm wanting 9 innings so I can find a way to get it done if something
Mhm.
fluky happens, not those 3 innings where he finds the bat and I get fluked. So I will speak. I'm not a competitive MLB guy, so I don't want to speak for him because I'm sure they have different opinions than me. But from a Madden guy looking in, I would have to
Yeah.
say I would love for MLB to continue being an esport. I would love for it to be 9 innings. Yes, it's a little boring, but that's just my opinion on it. But with the BR mode, I love it. It's such a great. It's just an enjoyable mode. Yeah, you can get upset, but for streaming purposes, it's great for streaming. So much more excitement, so much more
Oh
walk
yeah.
offs. The games are just going like the walk offs, the 12-0 runs. When you build a run, my viewer count like what
Mhm.
150, 200 when I'm 4-0, 5-0. When I get to that 8-0, the viewers are there, the chat's more active. It's great content. So that's another reason why I love BR.
You pretty much put the words in my mouth too. I'm exactly what you said.
Yeah,
It's just that's where I get it from, the adrenaline. Once you build up that run,
yeah,
there's nothing like it. It's still the best feeling to go 12-0 than making, say, World
yeah,
Series right now in
yeah.
my book for MLB The Show.
And
So
drafting a team is really fun. Let's just be honest. We
yes,
love
sir.
drafting us some teams. It's great. I love it.
Yes, even though if it takes 30 to 40 minutes, it takes a while for me
Who cares?
sometimes,
Who
but I
cares? Who
love drafting
cares?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because last night I have this custom league run by myself and Explorer, and we do a fantasy draft for DD. We have 26 other guys. Last night just drafted in team, and it just gave me that like extra like feeling of BR, but doing it from the whole inventory, which is was quite a fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, even though that now I kind of want, as you were bringing up, how is it going to be 9 innings for like if from Madigan looking in, it's going to be 9 innings for competitive. What you like to see in competitive. We did get our first esports event, and that was the summer circuit That was this past weekend. It's no longer on ESL. We heard a lot about ESL and feedback for the past 2 years. Now it's on Battlefy. Before I get into the summer circuit, I just wanted to say some stuff for feedback already for Battlefy. I I actually really liked what Battlefy did. They made a Discord channel and they opened up for questions. They were very pristine and very responsive then and know what they were talking about too. Then sometimes we saw with admins in ESL not too sure what's going on, which we heard in the past. So I do want to say for like early feedback, even though the tournament ran long once again, as we've seen in the past, I see that more towards a Swiss style, Swiss format being the case, and not everyone knowing the rules and such like that. But I just want to say the early feedback was good. Now let's get to the gameplay. So, going into your first, I guess, competitive event for MLB The Show, how did you feel? I was trying to play this weekend, but I wasn't able to. Didn't have the time to. But so I just want to hear how did it feel going from like what you're used to being a Madden competitive event and now going to a different game for a competitive event being MLB The Show?
I mean, I feel bad for the MLB community. I do. Madden, we've done it for years. We got it pretty much
Mm.
figured out, right? You
Yeah.
guys have been doing some stuff for some years now with ESL, and now you transition to Battle 5. There's just a couple things that I think's bad. You can't announce a tournament and then say it's next weekend. You can't do that. People have
Yeah.
lives. People have stuff going on. It was a 10-hour day to play, by the way, 6 games, to
Mm.
play 6 games that are
Mhm.
3, they're not 9-inning games, they're 3-inning games. It took 9 to 10 hours of 6 games. That's unacceptable in its own. But to tell people that hey, there's a tournament next weekend. I know they have other qualification days. I know, but the first one, hey, it's next weekend. It's like people have jobs, like the Rebels, he got to play, but the older generation,
Mm.
like the older people, like the kids,
Yeah.
who cares about the kids, bro? Like they need to stop playing games. There needs to be a 25 age limit, bro. Get them out of here. No, I'm joking, but because they are unbelievable. They're unbelievable. And but I didn't like
Uh-huh.
that. There needs to be more time. You need to announce this 3 months ago and say, hey, mark your calendars for these dates. Ask for time off on a Saturday, whatever you have planned, and know these times are locked in. I didn't like that. And what I didn't like was I don't mind having a long day to play. Okay. I really don't. Like the 9 hours, I didn't mind it, but don't tell me that I have a game at 2 and then the next game's at 3. So I'm sitting there waiting for 3 to come, but actually they keep delaying it an hour and another hour. I'd be cool if they told me my first game was at like 12. Okay, second game's not till 2. All right, I got some time after I play this 20-minute game. I can go do something for an hour. I can go do something, but I'm sitting here at my desk just staring at the Discord. By the way, the
Yeah.
Discord was good, and at the same time, it was very toxic because those kids typing in the chat were wild. Let me just tell
Yes,
you,
it
we
was.
were reading that
Yeah.
Discord. Those kids need to take a deep breath. They really do. And
Mm.
that those are my complaints. I feel like these are complaints that can be fixed. You know what I mean? It's not like they're unfixable. I mean, give the players a little bit of time to adjust their calendars to compete. And like you said, some people didn't know the rules. It's just part of it. Sunday was
Yeah.
ran way better. Because you eliminate the people that don't know what they're doing. They said Sunday was so smooth, and so, but that's about my
Mhm.
only feedback on that. So there you go.
Let me ask you, how do they do for Madden? Like, do they do something similar to like these qualifying, or how does you get into like, say, the final event? Like,
So
I'm not too keen on it, so I'm just
So what
curious.
what they did in the past, only 8 people make the live event. You start with like 4 from
Mhm.
Xbox, 4 from PS4, whatever it is. And we have leaderboards. Leaderboards are freaking great, by the way. We had leaderboards, and if you were like top, I'm just gonna make up a number here, like top 150 on that leaderboard. By the way, the leaderboards lasted for like a month or two, so you had a month or two of grinding. So if you had to take a day off, it won't hurt you because if you're good, you're gonna make 150 in about a
Yeah.
month or two span. And so then we would have a single elimination tournament or double elimination, and they would say, hey, the first round games have to be played from 7 to 8. Then the second round has to be played from 8 to 9, and then we'll go into the next day. And if you weren't ready for those times, if you weren't ready, you didn't get to play. You got DQ'd. So you had to play in these times. You win the next day, and as soon as we got to the final four for PS4 and then for Xbox at the time PS4, those 8 people will be flown to the live event, and then there's scheduled times on when we play our games. It was super smooth. I'm sure you guys have talked about the topic of like a weekend league ish, right? I know Scuffy. I've seen y'all's
Yeah.
posts on Twitter. Leaderboards are just amazing. The only reason why I think people are scared of leaderboards are for the booters out there, for the scumbags that want to fix the system, freeze the game. I think they just don't want to go through that headache, because there was a time, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking so long. I apologize. I know I'm rambling right now about this. Back in
Oh,
Madden
don't.
17,
I
this was
am.
back in Madden 17. This was the perfect format. To this day, everyone will say Madden 17, Madden 17, Madden 17. If you were top 4 on that leaderboard on your console, after all that grinding for 2 months, you actually got to skip single elimination and went straight to group play. It rewarded you for being good at the game and a grinder. Because like we talked about with a 3-inning game, any fluke can happen in 3 innings, right? Any fluke can happen in a Madden game. But they lit us. If you showed you were a top player every day, you got to go straight to group stages. It was awesome, because once you get the group stage, top 2 out of the 4 in the group make it to the live event. So I could slip up and lose a game and go 3-1 in my group, but still make it. And I feel like if MLB The Show had any kind of leaderboard, they'd be surprised on how smoothly it would be ran once you got to the tournament. But like I said, there's scumbags everywhere, and people are going to cheat that system. They just are. You see it. You see it with people
Yeah.
going 12-0. They booting people offline back to back to back to back to go 12-0 and get those cards. Freeze offs after freeze offs. It just sucks, because, and that's I truly believe that's why EA went away from the leaderboards, because we used to do it. Now we don't. Now we actually. I didn't compete last year, but there was Battlefy. Battlefy was in Madden last year for the first time.
Okay. And it was like the same type of format, like when they did
No,
Swiss, or
no, we didn't have to wait. That's the thing. That's where I think they messed up and they didn't.
Yeah.
With MLB The Show, everyone had to wait for those first round games to be done. For Madden, you just kept playing. So as soon as you won or lost, you just hit up the search key.
Oh, really?
And you just keep going. You keep going. You just play as much as you want.
So they've been doing like the same format for years now, where they do the Swiss format where you have to wait for everybody's game to be done before you can play the next one. And the first qualifier usually is the one that has the most amount of attention. It has the most people playing. Like I think there were 6,000 people that signed up for this one. And you get 6,000 people matched up for 3-inning games at the top of every hour. And these games are on Legend. A lot of the people playing in the tournament may not have even realized the games were on Legend to begin with. And then so sometimes they might not even be able to score by the end of the 3rd inning, let alone the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. That extends the games even more. It's just there's so much room, or there's so much time that's just dead space between these. I would love it if, like you said in Madden, as soon as you're done, you're ready to play your next game. You can just go. I think that's one of the reasons that turns off a lot of people from playing in these tournaments to begin with, because it actually is one of the reasons that turned off me from playing in this qualifier, because playing in the ones in the previous years, I know how much of a time commitment it is. And I get it. Like you can't always avoid certain like downtime or dead periods between the games. But I just wish there was a more streamlined way to make this happen, and a more streamlined way to, get games quicker so people weren't spending 10 to 12 hours. I'm fine, 5, 6 hours. I'm totally cool with that. 5, 6 games top of every hour. That's cool with me. But the extra half an hour, 45 minutes between rounds, that causes a lot of frustration for a lot of people. And if like you said, if there was a way to do it like Madden where you can just play as soon as you're done, I think that would make this a lot more enjoyable and a lot more, or give people more of a open mind when it comes to these things, because people don't always want to give up their Saturdays. But if you're playing for a spot in a $25,000 tournament, sometimes you got to make the sacrifices. So I don't know, there's two sides to it.
Yep, I agree with that.
What if they did like something like how we were saying with the leaderboard? Like, say if you had those 6 hours, all right, this is the span for 6 hours. We're gonna have a separate leaderboard through Battlefy, and you just play as many games as you can. And even if you beat, like, you get an opponent and someone quits, like you're up, that's just showing the other opponent just skillful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, say this guy played like 9 games, and most of the games he had people quit out, where the other person maybe was like he played like 6 of them, but he was 3. I don't know how to explain it fully. I'm just thinking out loud here.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like the format is the reason. I mean, we were talking about this last week, where I was for ESL last year. I was up until like 6 a.m. when they did it late at night. I mean, thankfully
Ugh.
they did it during the
Oh,
day now.
oh,
But
6
still,
a.m. Oh,
yeah, 6 a.m. for the first qualifier last year. I was up to,
what?
and that was it because
Oh,
they started it up late. I think they usually started last time. They started at like 6, 7. I forgot. It was at night. It wasn't during the day, and it was like the same thing. Just stuff was happening.
whew.
Either people don't know the rules or waiting for games, and
And
that was
and
it.
don't forget that was with ESL, and that's
Yeah,
with a worse rule set with the battle royale drafts
yeah.
and
Mhm.
the perfect umpires being off and wind being on and all the non-competitive
Yeah.
things, and you're dealing with that for that many hours, dude.
Uh-huh. Yep.
At least that's one thing that we could say is a positive about this too, is that the rule set was
Yeah.
much better, I think.
They do, like I said, they do listen to feedback. I think it's more the style of the tournament now that's holding it back with the Swiss. But I like how like you guys said, just continue playing once you're done. Or like how Skimbo was saying with the Madden 17, maybe they just give you a period of time. Everything gets logged through Battlefy. Just play as many games as you can, and they'll go by strength of schedule and by your, I guess your wins, your record by then. Do something like that, maybe. I
It's
mean, that
like
sounds like a weekend league, doesn't it?
kind of in a way. It's like
Kind
this.
of, yeah.
Okay, when you guys get on, like, what's your like? Everyone's different. What's your grind to grind this game? Is it content? Is it your chat? Is it to be competitive? Right, and we're talking about competitive right now, in my opinion.
Mhm.
What is a, I don't know, little man Woods? He's a TikTok. I always use him because he's an example in DGOS. What's their grind right now to be good at this game? What is it? I mean, I don't know. Is there even one, like, to really just grind the
Mhm.
game? You just found out a week or two
Mhm.
ago there was a little bit of a grind. You got this $25,000 tournament. Oh, let's lock in. I told my chat this. I'm a super competitive guy. Whatever I do, I want to be the best at. I really do. Even when it comes to Xbox BR. Yes,
Mhm.
I'm a Mickey Mouse guy and I thrive off of it. Give me those Mickey Mouse kits. I love it. Give me those Xbox kits. But um
Uh-huh.
it's like, what's the drive? Like, if they would have said there was a tournament 3 months ago and this would have been here on Legends, I would have been playing Legends every day, and so would a lot of other people. A lot of other people would be like, "Oh wait, there's this prize pool here, and I know it's in 3 months. I'm gonna grind." But what's your, like, you, for competitive guys? And I know it's a small percentage, but if they're going to do a tournament, they should try to do it a little bit more in favor of the competitive people. Give them something to play for every day for a month or two. Give them a leaderboard, give them an every Sunday or Saturday leaderboard. And then you calculate it at the end of the month or two, do like 4 or 5 weekends of it. And, give them a grind like every day. Hey, I'm booting up. I'm not just booting up for content, which I am. I'm booting up because I'm trying to get good at this game because I know there's a tournament, there's a leaderboard, and I got to be on my stuff on Saturday or Sunday. Now I'm really
Mhm.
locked in. It gives me a purpose, a grind. I talk about this with Madden. Man, if they brought back leaderboards, a top four leaderboard, I would boot up every day, and people would like, because people like seeing me do competitive Madden. I do entertainment Madden too. I have
Mhm.
fun with my chat, but at the end of the day, that's what made me, is being a competitive Madden player. And if I was to load up every day, and I love it, some people get burnt out by it, but I do not. If I was to load up every day, I'm like, all right, boys, we got to get this top four today. We got to go at least 7-0 today. People would be locked in, like, come on, man, you got to go 7-0. Like, it's just like every day. And if I lose a game, like, hey, we cannot lose another game. It's like I'm locked in. I'm so locked in. And it's so much fun. People don't realize how fun it. The people who played Madden back then, they realize how fun it was. And if they brought this to the MLB people, you're gonna have those people that are gonna say it's just too much of a grind. You're gonna get that because we got that Madden. Oh, I just didn't want to grind every day. Well, you don't have to grind every day to be top 256. You had to grind every day to be top four. That's what you had to grind every day for, is to get that top four spot. If you want to just
Yeah.
make the tournament, you ain't got to play every day. You could play maybe twice a week, to be honest. So that's just my feedback. If they do want to go that route, that's what made Madden so much fun, and I know it would make it a lot of fun for MLB players too.
Oh, for sure. I like everything about it. Let me ask you. This is more not towards the competitive. Let me just say, in watching, how does it feel like from like? I mean, I watch Madden Esports, even though I'm not really into the game. I just love the competitive. Just love watching competitive games being played on Madden. Doesn't matter 2K and MLB The Show.
Right.
Let me ask you the difference between watching a Madden competitive game towards a MLB competitive game. How did it feel like watching the difference? Like, is there a difference between? Well, I'm sure there's a difference because they're
Yeah.
different video games, but is there a different vibe, or is it like? What do you think is?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to say more entertained, like, but I'm just very curious of the overall vibe that it
Yeah.
gives you from one to another.
When it comes to Madden, we talked about this a little earlier. I got to act like I'm the man, right? Because so quote unquote, at times I
Uh-huh.
am, but I have to act like it. When I was watching MLB competitive, I'm smiling right now because I felt like a little kid. I was just in freaking all of these kids, dude. Like they're so good. Like I don't know, man. Like I was so excited. I watch some other people stream MLB during the week. It's cool. 12-0 run. I want to watch that. But you're playing ranked seasons, like it just feels so repetitive. You're just playing some ranked seasons. But when I was watching these kids play this weekend, I was locked in. I couldn't get away from my screen. I couldn't. And you saw the view count. Heck, for me personally, when I stream MLB, I get 200 to 300 when I stream. When I streamed the tournament on Saturday, I was up to 6 to 700 without a raid watching me do MLB competitive. So
Mhm.
there is an audience out there, obviously, that likes watching this stuff. And I had so much fun watching the tournament. It's completely different. And people feel like if you're good at a video game, you should be good at another one. Dude, the skill set you have to be good at Madden compared to the skill set you have to be good at MLB The Show is the most different thing I've ever seen in my life. It's not like it doesn't even matter. Like it just doesn't. Like you have to have perfect PCI placement, timing. It's just it's such a different skill set. That's besides the point. But as far as watching a competitive Madden game and a competitive like a tournament MLB, it felt the same to me. I was full with excitement. I was so excited watching these kids ball out. Once we got to the final 16, like oh my god, dude! Like these kids are unreal.
And when they go back and forth, it's nuts. Like when you see one of those classic games, we saw Zoe. I forgot. I think it was what was it last year? There was a classic game between Zoe and someone else in the ESL tournament that they were going back and forth. Like
Yeah.
Zoe would put up like 5 runs, and all of a sudden his opponent put up like 6, and then they go back and forth. I love the high scoring games in MLB because it just when the PCI is actually rewarding you for your skill input and it's showing that it just becomes who's going to drop first, who's going to give up first, and it's just not give up first, but who's going not to be able to respond, and it's just a lot of fun to watch, man. We are talking about before this podcast with Darius and Beatru in the
Mhm.
2019 finals were back and forth. I think it was like a 21 to 20 game in the game
Whew.
3, which was absolutely it was so much fun. And now, like I said, I would love to see that in like a live event, see how that goes, like just a back forth game like that. But that's me.
That's insane, man.
Um,
Just
question for
go
both
ahead.
of you guys. Question for both of you guys. How did you guys think, or how did you guys feel about the rule set and the like the team requirements and stuff? Because I saw a lot of people frustrated about the parallel system and inside edge counting towards the overall, because it basically, if you have a gold card, if you have a 79 overall silver and you've played with them a lot in BR and they're up to a gold, that card would count as a gold. So some people were saying it feels like I'm getting screwed out of using some of these cards because I just play the game a lot and I use these guys a lot, and now I can't
Mhm.
use them in a $25,000 tournament. So I'm just curious what you guys thought about that, because I didn't play. I watched a little bit, but I felt like there were certain cards that I was expecting to see used by a lot of people that weren't, just because of the parallel system and what those cards kind of evolved to. So I'm curious both of you guys' thoughts on that.
You could go first, Skimbo. I'll go after.
I thought the format was awesome. The team building was so cool. I thought if it made me think of Madden the salary cap, but I was upset. I play a lot of BR, and I will say my cards that were paralleled up, I think it was like Yerman Mercedes, the catcher, or Ruiz. I don't know who it was. That would have been a
Yeah.
perfect gold catcher at 83 overall because or whatever he was. But because I have him paralleled up to max and his inside edge, he was no longer I couldn't use him, and there were some people I saw that got to use them, and I was like, that's kind of unfair. I grind the game on BR, so I felt like that was a disadvantage for me personally. Um, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe they should just go with the original overall and not the paralleled if they're going to do 84. Maybe they shouldn't count the parallel. I don't know. You guys know more about this game than I do. I'm just speaking from what I saw. But I love the team building. But it was just kind of whack. You know, Hunter Renfroe could play, and then the next game Hunter Renfroe was paralleled up and he couldn't play, so I got to redo my team, which is also cool at the same time. It's honestly kind of cool at the same time. Like, okay, I gotta be a good team builder. I gotta be able to find my team and make this adjustment here. It's like an injury. There's two sides of this. You can think it's cool because of that way, or you can say I designated my team for this tournament like this. I've used this team. Why should someone be taken away from me? So there's an argument on both ends, in my opinion, on that.
I agree. I kind of wish that wasn't part of it. I mean, for me personally, I was planning to play on Saturday, but other plans got in it. But I never paralleled Edward Cabrera, so I had him at 94. So he was in my slot for 94 because if I paralleled him, he would have been like 95, and then he would have to be. So that was like advantage to me. I wish there was some way to actually just take parallels out of it. Just like just like have it just be the base overall card. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't have IE, don't have
Yep.
parallels affected when you play in tournament play. But unfortunately, I think that has to be like an in-game mechanic where you match up with the games like we saw last year with VR. You can't really do it now, but maybe that's something in the future. Like, we'll actually have the integration like we did with ESL with Battlefield next year, and then you actually go into that because last year Skimbo with ESL, we had the BR format, which wasn't fun upon pretty much because of the randomness of the draft, and then the rule set. But one good thing was that you go into it was like a game mode. You go into tournament app and then you match up within game, and it reports automatically for you. You don't have to upload anything. So maybe if they do something like that for Battlefield next year, they could remove the parallels in IE, so you just
Yeah.
work with the base overalls. But for the roster restriction itself, I mean, we kind of talked about this last week on the podcast itself. I love it. This was similar to 19, and I actually had fun with ESL in 19 when we did the roster requirement. So like you said, it's team building. It's like BR kind of, like you're just
It's
building up
cool.
your team. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of you. I'm more of a, I think, like I see the argument on both sides, but I also think that straight up, if parallels and inside edge are going to be as big of a feature as they've been all year, I think they shouldn't matter as much when it comes to the tournaments because, I mean, to be honest, with it being on Legend, a lot of people are going to need all the help they can get to get any sort
Yeah.
of runs. So I mean, if you have to use an 83 overall catcher that's boosted up to an 87 because you've played well with that card and you feel comfortable with that card in a competitive environment, I think you should be able to use that card personally. And
Same.
that would go for a lot of the players that may not be as good at the game. Like they need any sort of help they can get to get any runs, especially against the caliber of pitching you're going to face. At the end of the day, the best players are going to be at the top of the tournament. The best players are going to make it the deepest into the run. So, I don't think a couple overall points are going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things for them. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I still think the best way to do it is literally just have it event style. Just say, hey, your
Yeah.
team overall has to be 93. Here's your inventory. Don't go above 93. Boom, build your team. You can choose if you want to go heavier on the offense, if you want to go heavier on the bullpen or the rotation, whatever it is. Like, just you build your team the way you want it. Just meet this one requirement, and boom, you're good to go. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm with you. We had this idea for quite a while. Even like you said, they could give us a set inventory of cards to use, so everyone gets the same set, so it evens out the playing field and no paywall. Um, Even though there's no really paywall in MLB, but still, or you just choose from. Yeah, but that's I think the best way to go.
It
I agree
sounds
there, Chris.
it sounds like what y'all want is what they did with Madden for years, honestly. Except I don't know how it's gonna be this year. So y'all having all these ideas on how to do it. I mean, in Madden, one tournament was on Draft Champions, which is like BR. One tournament we had four tournaments every year. One tournament was on Draft Champions like BR. One tournament was on salary cap, which was like what we just played. We had to keep it under a
Yeah,
cap. Do we go heavy on offense? Do we go heavier on defense? And then the last tournament was Ultimate Team, which is your God Squad. And, I mean, it sounds like MLB just needs to have 4 tournaments and have, 4 different styles, and you guys have
Mhm.
fun. How great would that be for you guys? I'm sure you guys would love that. But then the prize pool comes in. Do they want to cut one tournament for 10,000? Like, I don't know what their budget is. Heck, they should have a big budget if I'm being honest. But um, it sounds like that's the kind of format you guys want. But there's some people like this year, people loved Ultimate Team and they wanted nothing but Ultimate Team tournaments, which is 99s everywhere. But people like me and my friend named
Okay.
Dubby, we love the team building. We love that stuff because it's a knowledge gap. All of a sudden, you got to know the glitchy cards, who has a good swing. Like, I grind this game, I know the ins and out. I know which gold is really good. I know which silver pitcher can hold his own. I think it rewards the grinders there compared to like a Diamond Dynasty 99 overall. But like I said, it sounds like you
Yeah.
guys want a Madden format. In my opinion, you want 4 tournaments, and heck, let's just have fun, and let's have fun with 3 or 4 of the tournaments and have them all different styles.
I'm all for anything. I just love seeing just competitive gameplay in MLB Show. To be honest with you, it's something I really enjoy watching, especially like we see the top players going out after this weekend. But yeah, Skimbo, this was very insightful. I really say, like I was saying before, I didn't know much about like the Madden background on how everything works and go from there. So just seeing the comparison between the two was a lot of fun to learn today.
We used to have, and I left this out because I won 2 of my belts like this, regular teams, which I was always like the Kansas City Chiefs or Seahawks. And I don't know if you guys would ever want to do that. The
Okay.
reason why we don't do that anymore, though, is because it was always Chiefs versus Chiefs. Chiefs versus Chiefs. Would you guys get Dodgers versus
Mhm.
Dodgers? Dodgers versus Dodgers. No one wanted to see 30 games of nothing but Chiefs versus Chiefs. We were sick of it. So I forgot to mention that mode. We
Yeah.
did have that mode, and then they took it out. So yeah.
The regs I would like to see. This is how I did regs tournaments for the past couple of years. Is all right. You have a home team, you have a away team. Well, you have 2 teams. You flip the coin to
Right.
see. No, not to flip. Whoever is the highest seed could either choose the matchup or being home. So
Oh.
those are 2 big things. So say you choose the matchup, you choose 2 teams. The other team gets to choose the first team of the 2, and you get
Wow.
the other team, and you be home. So
That's
I
unique.
like that type of format for regs.
That's unique. Yeah, that's very
It
unique.
is.
Yeah.
I see. You know where I seen this? You know where I seen this? Tecmo Super Bowl. Tecmo
Oh, there
Super
you go.
Bowl has these big tournaments. I'm not so sure if they still do it in Madison, Wisconsin. And that's the format they use. I was like, that's a really good format. They choose one guy chooses the matchups, and the other guy chooses the first team of the matchup, and then they play. Um,
Mhm.
it's I don't know. It brings an extra element. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
strategize not only with the regs, like knowing that you can't just do 2 like one big good team and one worse team. You gotta really think about it. Do like 2 even teams, and knowing that you'll be comfortable with either
With
or
either
stuff
one.
like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's a cool
yep,
idea.
uh, yeah. So I don't know. That's me. Um, Cruz, you got anything else? I think we covered everything today.
No, man. I think we had some good back and forth with how competitive games work in different titles,
Yeah,
especially sports games. It's cool to kind of see what it's like on the other side and how things can be implemented over here. What ideas can be shared between the 2 games. So yeah, I think we got some good information and some good insight in this one.
yeah, I do too. Now, Skimbo, where can everyone follow you? Either Twitch, YouTube. Let me hear it. Twitter.
I mean, I keep it all the same, dude. Appreciate the plug.
Okay.
Skimbo23 with 3 O's, 23 on everything. You know what, man? Becoming a This is off topic, dude, again, but becoming an MLB streamer the last 4 or 5 months has made me a better streamer because when I stream Madden, I don't have to read the chat. It is flying by. People are just lurking me. I had 500 to 600 every time I go live. Sometimes I'd hit 1,000, whatever. And I was just streaming. I come over to MLB, I'm sitting around 200, And this is the small streamers out here, real quick, because it taught me this lesson. Don't ever be discouraged about your numbers. I know this is completely off, whatever, but because you're cheating the people that are rocking with you. So just because I'm sitting at 150, 200 viewers, like What about those 150, 200 viewers in there watching me? You know what I mean? Like, why am I cheating them? They're giving me their time. Why can't I give them my time? You know, why am I being too big of a big dog for them because I don't have the numbers I'm used to? And so that's my biggest advice to small streamers. Even if your numbers aren't there where you think they should be, do not cheat the people that are in your chat rocking with you, because they're rocking with you. And those are your loyal people right there. And if you get bigger as it goes on, but do not cheat the people that rock with you. And I know that's off topic, but that's something I wanted to say, because coming over to MLB, I had to really grind, dude. I really did, to try to have good streams, try to have good numbers. And it's made me just a better streamer. Like I said, Madden, that was easy to me. All I did was play the game. People love watching it. MLB, it was just a completely different vibe. And the MLB community is such a great community because you guys are all you guys have. That's literally, I mean, you guys had no big tournaments. You have no like EA push. Like, you have SDS, but I don't know how much they're really pushing. You know, they give some money, but it's not like $1 million prize pool, you know. Then you're on ESPN, you're on all these other, you know, with the MLB community, you guys are like such a great group of people. It's like we you guys all have each other's backs. And that's the first thing I asked. I was like, where's the bad blood? I was like, because in Madden, we got some bad blood. It's like, hey, it's like, hey, I hope
Yeah.
you do bad. I hope you do bad. This is my money. You ain't taking my money. And when I came to the MLB community, I asked, where's the bad blood? They're like, there's hardly any. They're like, we all get along. I was like, well, that's pretty cool then. So, the shout out to the MLB community, because you guys are honestly pretty dope.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better. I mean, it's been growing. I mean, think Kooks, you even made a comment, I think, just recently, how much it grown since, like, just over the years,
Yeah.
and it's always been great.
Yeah, man. I mean, being in the community since 2016, it's pretty wild to see where it's come in 5 years. The game's on a whole different console now. The game's on the next generation of consoles. You've got, the amount of growth people have gotten. You got a guy like Kyle getting 10,000 subs on Twitch. You got,
Yeah.
Kevin and getting over almost 250,000 subscribers on YouTube. Just like continuing to push things forward, man. And it's awesome to see everybody thriving off that. And I think one thing at the MLB The Show community realizes is that everybody eats as the top guys continue to grow. The smaller, middle tier size streamers, they continue to grow with it. Like, as long as there's growth, everybody's feeling it. So it's pretty awesome to see.
Oh, without doubt. Yeah, couldn't say anything better. And it's just going to continue growing, especially with now, like you said, being next generation. And it's like that's the beauty of it. Like, everyone really does have everyone's back. Everyone tries to root everyone
Yeah.
on and celebrate the accomplishments of everyone. So, but yeah, Skimbo, this was a lot of fun today, man. I appreciate coming in and talking shop with us. And of course, I'm sure we'll have you back down road again.
I'd
I would
love
love
to.
to have you back on.
Man,
And
you just hit me up, dude. I'm down anytime, man.
course.
I like this community a lot, man. I'm sad. I'll be honest. I'm gonna leave it here in about 3 weeks and not come back for 8
Hey,
months. But
hey, know what? We're gonna be right with you though. We'll be rooting you on and go from there. So that's the thing. Like, once you get your going from one, you'll notice that there's gonna be people from MLB that's gonna be just being right with you, be a ride or die. So it's gonna be great.
dude, I found many of those people, honestly, in the MLB community. They liked my content, and they didn't know who I was. That made me feel good. The people that didn't know my background in Madden, and they're like, all right, who is this guy? We kind of like his vibe. I'm like, I look at my child, like, hold on, you don't know what I've done? They're like, nah. I was like, VIP, put him in the VIP. Like, he rocks with me. He doesn't know anything about me. He subbed to me. He has no clue. I was like, yo, put him in the VIP, bro. That's what I like. So I love, I've had a couple people come that say they're coming with me to Madden, and man, I think streaming MLB was by far the best decision I ever made. And so, yeah.
And we love that you're part of the community now. So once again, follow Skimbo on all of his accounts. It's Skimbo with 3 O's 23. That's on his Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. So
don't call me Skimbo, because some people, when I go raid people, they see the 3 O's and they go, "Oh, thank you, Skimbo." I'm like, yo, like, I'll just laugh. I just laugh. I'm like, I'm used to it. So my chat gives me crap. They spell my name with U's. Hello, Skimbo. I'm like,
the thing
what's
is,
up?
like,
Yeah.
If I saw your name for the first time, just didn't know who you were,
Yep.
and I'm a streamer, I'll probably do the same thing. So I'll be
It's-
guilty on that.
I
So,
love it. It's
'cause
fun.
that's the one thing I can't pronounce anything. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, this was a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll talk again in the future. And Cougs, that's going to do it for this week. Next week, we'll be talking about fifth inning program. And remember, last fifth inning program here, Cougs, we got Larry, Mo, and Poppy. Just give me a yes or no quick answer. Is it going to be better than last year for the fifth inning?
I don't know, Scuffy. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
That's a hard one to beat.
It is a hard one to beat, but we'll find out next week. Make sure to follow us along. We're at twitter.com/inside the show PC. Once again, twitter.com/inside the show PC, our official Twitter account. We're also on YouTube if you're watching us now, youtube.com/inside the show. If you're not, sub over the channel and be free to ask us any questions over there. Follow my boy Cougs at twitter.com/Cougs46. I'm at Scuffy McGee TV. You guys have a great week and happy grinding for everyone that's going to do the fifth inning program. We'll see if it is indeed better than last year's program. Happy grinding and see you guys next time on Inside the Show. Peace.